All right, bit of a different type of video here. We're gonna be hiking the Beehive Trail just by Lake Louise. Right now we're here at the bottom of Lake Louise. I don't even really know where the entrance to the trail is, so I'll update once I figure out where that is. But here we are at the bottom of Lake Louise. See, there's quite a few people here, and it's obviously very beautiful. All right, so we found the trail, 4.8K, and we're starting here. It's a little bit late in the day actually, so I'll have to get moving a bit, but other than that, this is the beginning of the big Beehive Trail at Lake Louise. You see the lake, people canoeing. They're in the back through there, but let's get going. So you see, I'm gonna try to do kind of a mix of walking and jogging. I'm sure after a while I get pretty tired and it'll be more walking, but I'll do that, and then I'll stop at the points where I think there's a good enough view to show in the video. So maybe 20 minutes in so far, it's going good. It's right along the water so far, which is great. I'm a little out of breath, as you can probably hear, but one other thing, which I don't recommend doing, right before this hike, well, at least about an hour ago, I had a couple of Costco hot dogs, so not the best pre-hike fuel. I'll take a rain check on that one next time, but we'll continue on here. But like I said, you can see the entire hike so far right beside Lake Louise. You can see it through the trees there, kind of. And yeah, it just smells really nice. Smells like the lake, if that makes any sense. So far, and I'm sure I'm just kind of right at the beginning. Like even the guy behind me, as I was running, was like, long way to go. So far it's pretty uphill compared to some other hikes I've done, which is really not that many. But according to the app, at least the All Trails app, it's like an out and back, and I'm sure I'm passing lots of people, but I'm assuming that obviously means it'll be harder on the way up and quite a bit easier on the way down. But one question is, when you go on hikes, like that meme of the white people hiking, waving at everybody, is that you? Hello? Or, see, those people brush me off, but are you the person that says that awkward kind of hi? Or do you just keep it moving? Let me know in the comments. So first time, there's pretty much a good view here. So you can see the trees open up. Nice view of the water, nice view of the mountains. Switches direction here. So now we're heading the other way. And yeah, so far this hike's been lots of fun. And we'll continue on, and probably only, I don't know, 15% of the way done if I had to guess. Maybe not even, but look at that already. Pretty great view. Also, okay, so through there, you can't really see it, but that's the water. We're doing another turn around here. And now it looks like for the meantime, we're gonna go a little bit further into the forest, but we'll see where this trail ends up. So far, the run walk strategy is still going well, although I will say the run intervals are getting quite a bit shorter. And so yeah, as I said, we are getting a little bit further more into the woods. Another thing I want to point out, this is actually a minor one, but you'll see on this path, there are quite a few places where there's a bunch of rocks and tree roots on the ground. So you might want to be a little bit aware of that. If that's not your favorite type of terrain for hiking, there are quite a few places where you basically have to walk over rocks and stuff. So yeah, just be aware of that. All right, look at this, not bad. First pit stop here. Some type of nice lake. We'll stop here for just a second, maybe grab some water and then keep moving, but pretty nice, pretty miniature, some type of water deposit. I don't know about geographical terms, but here we are. Nice view, side of a mountain there. And yeah, just over here, you can definitely hear some flowing water. But as I said, I'm not going to pretend to understand what the heck is going on here. First time I got past here, runner. Better shape than me for these hikes anyway. Another great view here, look at that. Trees are opening up. Very nice. I tried to keep up with the hiker for a bit, but he's long gone. But yeah, look at this view here. Opens up again. And again, see, this is like an example of the trail. So if you don't like walking on these rocks, probably pick a different hike. But for me, and for probably lots of people, because it looks like this is pretty popular, it's actually a very fun hike. At least so far. I think we're about maybe halfway up the hill, but we'll see what happens. All right, here we are approaching another very nice spot. Wow, waterfall. And so I'm gonna use my detective skills to assume that this is the sound I heard from back down at that mini lake about what the flowing water was. And yeah, as you can see here, water falling down this mountain, going down there. And fun fact, the name waterfall comes from because it's water falling. At least I hope so. And then we got some stairs here. Actually could see that runner that passed me. So we'll see if we can try to catch up to him, but I mean, not intentionally, just see if my pace will get me back in range of him. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see what happens. So I got some stairs here. And they come back around, and oh, we're at a cabin here. I think this might be what they call the tea house, but we'll see. Yeah, I think so. So we're at 1.6K from Big Beehive, and we're at a cabin here. We'll see what it is. Looks pretty nice. So I guess I don't actually know what this is. Maybe Lake Agnes, I think this could be. Really cool. That same kind of view or similar anyway to Lake Louise, with those mountains in the back and the trees on the side and stuff like that, but very nice. And then we'll check the other side. All right, so now we're gonna go, I think there's a trail called Little Beehive up that way, which depending on how long this takes, I think I'll probably go up there too. But we'll see. Like, I don't know exactly where this trail here, this is Big Beehive, where this is gonna take me. So far it's pretty cool. It's like right on the water. And then update on the side quest. I saw the runner in the white sweater there, and we talked for a second there, and I was like, wow, you're a good runner. And anyway, but he's stopped there, so that's the end of that side quest. We won't be seeing him in the rest of the video unless he comes on here and passes me again. Other than that, we're walking here, and again, you can see walking on the rocks, but so far this little Big Beehive path has been amazing. Check this out. So here, the side of a cliff here with some rocks. Obviously, probably stay a little bit alert to like a falling rock, but quite an amazing view here. See the mountains back there. But yeah, this is quite the hike so far. So now you can see I'm just like literally walking on straight rock, but I think it's worth it. All right, so here we are walking on some rocks again, and you know, there's super cool view in here up to the water. Actually, I'm gonna kind of walk up here a little bit, see what we got going on here. Up some rocks. See, it's very cool here. Some grass. Oh, sound like an old man there. But yeah, look, opening up here. Look at that. Not bad, eh? It kind of sounded like a boomer there. But the All Trails app classifies this trail as hard. And I mean, I'm a total rook to hiking, so I don't really know. I've done like 2 or 3, but I would say that's probably hard, just based on the fact that like a lot of hikers probably wouldn't want to be hiking on this like straight rock, sort of jumping from rock to rock. But other than that, I think it's been not the hardest in the world. Like I'm not really out of breath anymore since I stopped running so much just to film more stuff. But if I can, and the trail stops being so rocky, I'll start trying to get a jog in before I basically completely stopped sweating. It's a really nice day for hiking in terms of wet weather. Not too hot, not too cold. So now I'm walking up the side of this mountain here. I guess this is like maybe where the word Beehive comes, because you kind of walk around here, all around there, and then eventually to here. Maybe this is supposed to like resemble a beehive. I don't know. Not supposed to. Someone didn't design this, but you know what I mean. Or did God design it? I don't think that would make the organizers of the opening ceremony at the Paris Olympics the most happy. But you see, we did another change of direction. Now we're walking up this way, and now, as you can hear, I'm getting a little more out of breath because there's more elevation again. So the last maybe 10 minutes or so I've been walking on the side of this mountain has been for sure the most elevation at a time throughout this hike. So be prepared for that. The last little bit of this hike, at least I think I'm probably almost done, is quite a bit of uphill. So if you do this hike, just be ready for that. So we're getting higher. I think we're probably pretty close. I think these are called a switchback, where it kind of walks. Before I post this, I'll Google that, but where you kind of walk up a part and then you turn around. You see, that's probably been the last 15 minutes or so, just walking up and back, kind of the side of the mountain, eventually getting close to the top. The air is starting to feel real fresh up here. It smells amazing. So I think we're on the final home stretch here. I did see a sign back there that said the lookout for this big beehive, so we'll see if that's where we're headed. I'm sure we are. We don't know how far away it is. And so this is not quite the top, but you can see we're very close. That's Lake Louise down there. You can see the people on their canoes or the kayaks. And then in the distance there, you can see the Chateau Lake Louise or something. I forget the name right now. But already amazing view from up here. Then we made it to the top here, top of the big beehive. We got a view of Lake Louise, very blue, something flowing in there, but whatever the reason, the water is incredibly blue. See a view of the hotel there, and then quite a rewarding view getting all the way to the top here of the big beehive trail. And then here's a different view from the top here of the big beehive. Here's that smaller lake we passed earlier in the hike. And then final look out here before we will turn back, and then we should have time to head up the little beehive, see what the views are like from up there. But this is the big beehive summit, and we made it. Very, very great views from up here. See the sun starting to set up here, and I'm gonna walk back down towards that hut we were at before around Lake Agnes, the tea house hut. And then, as long as the sun isn't too low, which I don't think it will be, we will walk up to Little Beehive and take a look at that. But even look at this, all the glaciers up here. Very nice. As I said, you could tell the difference in the air up here. Feels a lot fresher, even though it felt fresh down below as well by Lake Louise. It feels great up here, but we will get a move on. I won't show too much of that hike on the way down because we already covered most of that, but I will tune back in at the tea house and we'll see where we're at And assuming all goes to plan, which I'm sure it will, we will go up to the little Beehive and see what we are at over there. And we'll show one more view here. We will get just this glacier one more time. Yeah, I definitely recommend this hike. Again, as long as you are okay with relative difficulty and in some parts you're kind of walking around rocks, as you can see. So you have to be comfortable and willing to do that. So one more thing to point out as I'm walking down the top edge of this, or top end of this big Beehive trail, you got to be a little careful. It's pretty steep and there's quite a bit of loose gravel, so it's almost in a way harder because it's actually hard just to control yourself from going too fast and potentially slipping. So something to keep in mind is on the way down, especially on this part of the trail, be careful and just be aware that you, again, if you're not comfortable with this, probably don't pick this hike. And yeah, it's a little bit of loose gravel. All right, so we're back. I'm like 90% sure this is the tea house. And we are now gonna head up the little Beehive trail, which is shorter than the trail we just did. Big Beehive, at least from this point anyway, Big Beehive was 1.5K and little Beehive is 850 meters. So we'll head there now. So far, perhaps to be expected, I'm almost immediately out of breath on little Beehive as I'm going uphill again. But so far, pretty good views already on this hike. I've only probably gone on about 4 minutes. So far, little Beehive seems more like a continuation of the lower part of this trail, which the trail could be considered, I think, both Beehives or Agnes trail or whatever. I'll put in the video exactly what that trail is called, but this is more little Beehive anyways, more of a continuation of that in terms of terrain, with like a pretty decent uphill climb with some rocks, but no excessive loose gravel so far, and no excessive kind of walking all over rocks. We will see what happens moving forward. And again, just like Big Beehive, so far little Beehive, the entire time has had a great view, as you can see. Very, very rewarding side, both Big Beehive and little Beehive so far. Another nice opening, real nice on little Beehive. Spectacular view here. And I have a feeling I'm probably pretty close to the top, as I've been running / walking for what feels like a little ways. I probably would have guessed I'm maybe 10 minutes from the top, so stay tuned for more little Beehive. We'll be right back to you from a word from our sponsor. Just kidding, I don't have any. More outstanding views here, and I'm sure we're almost to the top. All right, we made it, little Beehive. We are at the top now. Very nice up here as well. We'll walk kind of a little further, see where we can get some views. There's abandoned something up here. And then we never got this view from the other side. Different angle here of the mountains on little Beehive here. That's towards, I guess, the opposite side of Lake Louise. Lake Louise over there. Get a view of, you actually see the highway from over here. Through there, some more views of Lake Louise. And a little more of an open view from Big Beehive, actually. Maybe not as high, but still beautiful scenery up here as well. So we will head back down now. See, like, and again, little Beehive, you don't even need to do this if you don't want to. Like, I kind of went a little further into the rocks to get more of a view, but overall, you don't need to do this. You can get a pretty good view just from the top. Little Beehive, I would say, if you don't want to deal with all the rocks, you can basically just get away with being towards the top, still get a really good view. And that would be, I think, the biggest separator in terms of difficulty from little Beehive to Big Beehive. Big Beehive has significantly more portions where you're walking on rocks and loose gravel. And little Beehive, for the most part, except for one sort of, I guess, relatively minor, still somewhat challenging part where there's a little bit of rocks, Definitely not nearly as much as Big Beehive. It's pretty similar, maybe 5% more difficult than the walk up towards the tea house. So yeah, with that said, we will walk back now. I'll check in one more time, but other than that, we will check in at the bottom of the mountain. So far, if you're still here in the video, thank you for watching, and I hope that you sometime get the chance to, if you want to, hike Big Beehive and Little Beehive. So a quick note, so I can give this somewhat of an accurate review here, and I'm not intending this to be like a comprehensive guide or anything like that, but I'm walking back from Little Beehive, and the way I came up was to Lake Agnes that way, but on the way back down, I'm going to follow this trail here just because it says Little Beehive, so I'm going to go down a little bit different of a way that I came up. I expect that this will end up kind of merging with the trail I was on for the most part pretty quickly, but we will see. I'll do a check-in actually once they merge. And in terms of that, the downhill of that Little Beehive, compared to Big Beehive, a lot easier on the way down. There still is a little bit of loose gravel. Like even right now, you can see there's a little bit, but there's just not much of an incline. There's a nice opening here, and there is some nice flowers actually on this side of Little Beehive. Or this, I guess I'm on the downslope now, but this part of Little Beehive, this is not the same way I came. If you're into flowers, this is probably the most flowers I've seen so far on this hike. Pretty nice. We'll continue on here. Maybe there'll be like a Dunkin' Donuts or something like that on the way. All right, so I'm back merged with the trail I was on at the beginning, headed back to Mirror Lake and Lake Louise. So you got Lake Agnes and that tea house is that way. Now we're heading back. I think Mirror Lake is that little mini lake perhaps, but we're headed back to Lake Louise. And yeah, the downslope of that Little Beehive trail there was pretty much the same as the beginning, maybe a little bit more loose gravel towards the end, but overall, and again, so like this is the type of terrain even that you have to deal with on both the Beehives. Quite a bit of rocks and loose gravel here at least, so we'll continue on. Checking in at the first lake that we saw on our journey here. Yes, that is the name, Mirror Lake. And there it is again. And now we will head back and our last little descent here, and we should be down there pretty soon. We're making pretty good time. And so we're back at Lake Louise. You can see right there, Chateau Lake Louise, I believe it's called. Overall hike went great. Great views as you saw from the video. And if I was going to give this a review, this is really the first hike I'm going to do on this channel. I don't have too much to go off. I did Johnson Canyon last weekend, but I'll say Big Beehive, I'll give it a 8.2 and Little Beehive 8.1. So with that said, thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one.